Assalamualaikum. Hi, again it's me, Madam Pau. Continue with animal gases exchange part 2 in invertebrate respiration. So there are two types of respiration for invertebrate animals comes along with the example of animal one for each. The first one is skin breathing, whereby the movement of oxygen and carbon dioxide across moist respiratory surfaces, also known as intergumentary exchange, take place entirely by diffusion. So normally this animal will only survive in damp or aquatic habitat. While for tracheal system, air will enter the spiracles, the structure with small holes located at the thorax and abdomen, and the air is distributed through the body of the organisms via trachea and tracheolus that comes into close contact with the organism's cells. Let's look for the example of animal for skin breathing. We have earthworm. Look at the capillaries just underneath the skin. That is why this kind of animal can only survive in aquatic habitat in order to keep their skin moist for better gases exchange. For tracheal system, usually for insect, the spherical structure located here, trachea and also the tracheoles. So basically, the air will flow into the spiracles, allowing oxygen to travel along network of tubes of trachea until it reach the cells in the insect body. So that is how they do their gases exchange. Next, for vertebrate respirations comes with different gases exchange structure, like fish via its gills, while for amphibians and reptiles or avians through their lungs. Let's take a look one by one. A swimming fish simply opens its mouth and let water flow past its gills. So this is the action that will continuously done by the fish using coordinated movement of its jaws and also its operculum, penutup insang. So each gill arch has two rows of gills filament. This one composed of flattened plates called lamella. This one is lamella. Okay. And when you look into the lamella, inside the lamella consists of the blood capillaries. So blood flowing through capillaries within the lamella picks up oxygen from the water. So there are one mechanism to maximize the efficiency of gases exchange for fish. We call as counter current exchange mechanism, whereby the water flow over the gills in one direction while blood flows in opposite direction through capillaries. Next, gases exchange for frog can be done via mouth, skin and lungs. Before that, we have to know this one is frog's nostril, frog buccal cavity, and then the structure here called buccopharyngeal floor, opening and closing glottis, and also a structure representing lungs. So when frog is not submerged in water, frog will breathe using its mouth. The first step is it will open its nostril to let the enter ring of air. So the buccopharyngeal floor will lowered. At the same time, it will close its glottis. Okay, so after the air enter the buccal cavity, so
it will close its nose, and then the buccal pharyngeal floor will upwards, glottis is open, and then air enter the lungs. So the lungs will expand when air enter into them, and lungs will contract. So air is expelled from the lungs. So frogs can also do their respiration via skin whenever they are underwater, and also via their lungs, which connecting to mouth through opening glottis. They use their throats, nostril, and mouths together to bring in then expel gas. Last, avian gases exchange. I can say that it is a bit complicated. That is why I try my best to include all the important notes here. Basically, passage of air through the entire system of birds require 2 cycles of inhalation and also exhalation, meaning that there will be first inhale, second inhale, first exhale, and also second exhale before it is fully used and exhaled out the body. Bird's respiratory system consists of paired lungs, the surfaces for gas exchange, and also the connected air sac, which will expand and contract, causing air to move through lungs. Let us learn together what happened during first inhalation. Macam biasa, fresh air travels through trachea, which split into left and right primary bronchi. Some air will straight away enters the lungs to undergo the gas exchange, and the remaining will go to fill the posterior air sac. First exhalation, posterior air sac contract, and then will push the air into lungs and undergo the gas exchange. And then the spent air in the lungs is displaced by the incoming air and flows out the body through the trachea. Okay. Bear in mind that this process is occur simultaneously, meaning that fresh air keep on enter the trachea. So again, fresh air enters both the posterior sac and the lung, and then the spent air in the lungs. But for this second inhalation, the spent air in the lungs is again displaced by incoming air, but it cannot exit through trachea because fresh air is flowing inward instead. So the spent air passes through the anterior air sac. So second exhalation, anterior air sac contract, air in the lungs flows out through the trachea, and fresh air in the posterior air sac will again enters the lungs for the gases exchange. It's macam susah sikit nak faham. Try to digest it first by referring to this diagram, and then I guess that's all from me. Thank you.